Woohoo!
That is not the safest way to do that.
No.
So, oh, hi, wait. Oh, hello. I didn't see you. So, Mom's gonna clean this area up. I'm just gonna give her a little hand. So, yeah, Mom's cleaning this part up. And there's, like, stuff up there that's secret. And I'm gonna tell you later. But, so, like and subscribe to this video. And I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.
Okay, Daniel needed to go back inside to eat breakfast, and then he will be joining us again soon, I have no doubt. But what we're going to be working on today is this area that is off the back of our deck. Let me get back here so you can kind of see what we're talking about. It's a very large deck. This deck it's nice, but also that's all wood and it's rotten, so that's a project for another day. But this area here, as you can see, is obviously a little overgrown. It's also just not well manicured. It's also just stuff that's kind of there. And here's where the problem is. This gives you a really good idea. This is our walk out to our basement. And can you see how hilly that is on both sides? It's a very dramatic slope down on both sides. And this side that I'm going to start with today in particular, here's what this looks like. And look at all of that water runoff that happens right underneath the deck ramp. There's also some random things in here from the prior owners. We didn't store posts here. I think a little bit buried under this greenery, there's a little bit of trash too. And then somewhere over here in the weeds are 3 pop cans that blew off of our deck in the severe windstorm from November of last year. So I need to get stuff out of there. Also, this vining greenery, as pretty as it might be, is, vining everywhere. It's coming from there. Look just how viney that, oh yeah. And then the vine grabbed the strap off a tarp that we had on the deck and pulled that down with it. So that's cool. And then, oh, here's another good. Here it is wrapping around this pole of the deck. And then up there, get it from this angle. And then up there, it's up and over and coming right back down. We have this in a couple areas of the deck, and this one is not great. So I do love vining plants, and those can be really pretty and intentional sometimes going up the side of something, but this is not how you want it. And it's clear to me, first of all, they're very heavy when you start pulling them away and trying to cut at them, and they're very tough, strong plants. But it's very clear to me that that's contributing certainly to the problems on the deck. And with a rotting, doesn't look like it probably so much, but with a rotting, semi-rotting deck, you don't want to add this greenery. Of course, anytime you have vining greenery right up against your house or structures like this, that's also going to add to the bugs. The bugs will obviously enjoy that, live in it, live on it, and then of course they're going to find their way into your house because you've given them a perfect roadway to get there. So we need to cut all of this away, clean it up a little bit. So the other issue, of course, is that that's a pretty steep drop off right there. And then what happens is it channels down, comes right over the not so great brick landscaping that is here, cinder block brick. Obviously you see the dirt and the mud with some chicken tracks in it. And then what happens over here by the doorway, this is that door we replaced recently. And then the same thing happens on this side with that crazy steep hill. This one, I think we'll probably end up saving this for next year, or if the fall, if I miraculously have extra time on my hands. I'm not going to tackle this right now when we're about to start garden season and we're dealing with meat birds and all of our other animals, but this is also very ridiculous, and it's a larger area to tackle, and we may need to treat it a little bit differently than the one over here on the right. But anyway, I had several times now, I've taken my shovel and scooped up this sand and either just gotten rid of it or tried to put it back, like over here, for example, put it back, but it's just going right over these cinder blocks. For some reason, there's only one layer here, so I know that's part of probably why it's worse over here. There's at least 2 stacks here, and that helps. And then over here, this part stays pretty clean once I cleaned it up and kind of figured out what was going on. This part not so much, but also this is where I think some cinder blocks failed. And like real quick last year, I just put these stones here to kind of help with things. They do have something that's supposed to help channel water, but again, I don't think that was done very well. It's buried. There's just a lot going on this side of the deck. So I'm not going to do that first. And I also just thought, well, let's see how my plan goes for this side, because I don't want to tear everything out, plant what I'm going to plant that's supposed to help with soil erosion, and then have that not work real well. And I wouldn't want to do that times 2, right? So I'm going to try this side first. It's smaller, a little bit easier, even though this is going to take me some time today. It's still going to be a lot more manageable than the other side would be. And then what I'm going to do, I bought some seeds for some ground cover flowers, things that stay low to the ground and that will be pretty, things that aren't going to try to grow trees or vine and grow real tall, something we don't have to mow. But these, for example, I'm not sure what these are. I keep forgetting to look them up, but they're beautiful and they're just here growing already, either wild or maybe someone before us planted them. And they're all at the bottom, of course, because again, we've got that steep drop off and it's probably just how that worked. I could probably get some seeds from those or transplant some things. And if we clean this up, let it go up the hill on its own naturally, help it to do that. Here's some more. These are also really pretty. And then I got these. I got some like pansy. I think they're either pansies or pansy type. Pansies or violets. I read were really good for helping with soil erosion, even though they're a very small, delicate flower. And then whatever these are, these don't get very tall either. Whatever these little purple things are. And they're very pretty. So all of that would be fine. Then, for example, over here, this is more out in the front of the lawn, but these are really pretty as well. And yes, they're maybe 6-7 inches tall, but they're really pretty and they do a pretty good job of choking out most things. We don't have a lot of that kind of thing going on over here, but that would be the goal. Get some ground cover over here, help with soil erosion, and just clean up this area. So let's see what we can do. Carla's like, I'm getting out of here. I've got my job inspector here. How am I doing? Oh, you brought a couple supervisors as well? Hey, Carrot. This is also an area that has harbored a lot of snakes in the past. So I think my husband will be really happy that we're getting this cleared out too. Michigan, I don't think we really have hardly any dangerous snakes. Just there is a rattlesnake here, but in my 43 years, I've never actually seen one. I don't think I've ever even walked up on an area where I've heard one rattling. So they're around, they happen, but I think they're kind of rare where we're at. And it's not like a problem for sure. And we have a lot of like gardener snakes, rat snakes, other snakes of that type. And not that my husband's so much afraid of those because they're small and harmless to people, but he grew up in the jungle of Venezuela where there were both python and anaconda. So the kind that eat people, small children, larger wild animals. So he's just not a fan of snakes in general. Found the pop cans. Might as well get this while I'm up here too. There we go. Well, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit, a little bit humid, so it's pretty hot out here. But I'm going to keep going and just pace myself. But here's where we're at with this side so far. And a couple things I wanted to show you. I raked out this area after chopping down some things. And just to show you the difference between this section and that over there towards where it meets up with the grass. And it has those pretty purple flowers along with some grass mixed in. When I remove all that viney stuff and just some other weeds that were here, it is just bare dirt. So I definitely want something better over here that's going to be true ground cover and not just look like we're covering it in patchy, unplanned ways with weeds. And then there's just so much of this stuff. And I'll have to get as much of that out as I can over time here. We're going to get a lot done this time. But next year, it'll probably be something that we need to revisit and clean up more. I just wanted to show you this tree that's right here next to all of this as well. And how the vines come from the ground and are growing up it. That's not great. So we'll be pulling that off of the tree as well. And see how it's also, again, growing up from the ground and wrapping around some lines to our house. I believe this is both the propane gas and the water line. Looks like they're connected, but they're not. There's a spot right there where you can see that better. But either way, we don't want that happening. I also wanted to show you on this particular type of vining plant. It's so fascinating because it literally has what looks like these little hands with sticky frog fingers reaching out, and this is how it attaches to things and helps itself climb. And you can see like here where you rip it away from something, then it leaves the little fingers behind. All right, this is a very precarious spot to be doing this. Thankfully, it doesn't attach too much, and last year I had pulled a bunch off the side of the house. We got a lot of those sticky feet things on the house here. So I had maintained it a little bit last year, so it's not too bad. If we can get the roots out of here, then we'll be in business. Roots just go all over the place. I think I'm going to stay right here. Oh yeah, and that's another fun thing this will do. It's in my house, literally in the walls of my house. Wow. All right. Might seem obvious too, but if you're in the middle of dealing with this and you haven't dealt with it before, and it is growing around some kind of pipe, just be really careful not to wrench on the pipe or pull the weeds down on the pipe or try to rip them off that way. You don't want to have a service call for propane, trust me. We've done that for other reasons and, you know, takes time and extra money and just isn't fun. Ooh, I think I'll just go like this. Maybe. Okay, and then the rest of that I can reach from the ground, kind of go part way up and then reach up and get that. I have some admirers of my work or maybe more supervisors. Climbing right up the hose even. Crazy. The one thing I'll do eventually too is we have found cinder blocks around the property. Excuse me. We found cinder blocks around the property in other weird places, so I'll put a second layer of this too before I add more dirt and plant. Today is just a focus on cleanup, and you can't see this off camera, but it's adorable. 4 more chickens just went down the hill, and they're coming up this way to join the rooster and the others, probably for some shade and some bug snacks. I wanted to show you too the roots to this viney stuff that I keep pulling out of here. So this is kind of where the ground level was, and this is what's underneath the ground. Isn't that crazy? It's like this very dark orange root system, and it just goes everywhere, and then it keeps branching off and making more, and that's kind of why it gets out of control. We'll see if we can. Sometimes you can pull them right out, and other times you have to cut. These are pretty thin though, so she'll be able to do that. Looks like we're finding some other obnoxious debris. Like, what is this? Oh. Helicopter toy. Some other random hard plastic. And then, of course, the debris that just got thrown over here by the prior owners. And then whatever this nasty thing is, kind of scared. We've gotten this area cleared out really well. I hope you can tell from the video. This was kind of something that I was really trying to get to. Very interested in getting these out of here. These are kind of underneath it, so I'm just going to pull these out first and put them off to the side. See if my husband wants to use them for anything. We'll figure out what else to do with them later. Ooh. Random zip tie around the root of one of those vines that I just dug out. Foil. You can't have an unsanctioned trash pile without adding some crumpled up tinfoil to it. There are nails, rusty nails sticking out of this too. All of these boards. Oh, I didn't even know that one was there. Oh, the plastic hook to a hanging basket planter. Well, this one we almost might as well just leave here and let nature finish taking its course. There's a little red squirrel running around the deck above me. So this is where we're at for the day. I'm pretty happy with this. I wasn't sure I was even going to get this far. I'm going to stop for the day, but I wanted to tell you some of the next things that I'm going to be doing here. So this part right here, hopefully you can tell in the video, but if you can't, it is the steepest part. And then there's kind of this shelf bowl type thing, and then it runs down a little bit more gradually from here. We need to either fill this in with some dirt, or maybe we have several large stones on the property. That would be nice. I don't know how to get one over here though without tearing up the yard, because that's going to be the bucket tractor, and I don't think we're going to get it between the posts anyway. So probably won't end up doing that, but maybe we'll do a few of the smaller stones and pile them up. I feel like that would be really helpful for erosion control. But we do need to buffer this up somehow, so that's another piece to the project. A couple of other things. The reason I chose to do this now when I should be planting the garden, don't worry, we're going to get to that, is that, number one, it was already pretty overgrown, but it could have gotten worse for sure. It's only going to get hotter, so I didn't want to do it when it was going to be any hotter than it already is. And I didn't want to wait another season, right? Or wait till the fall. I don't want to plant new seeds in the fall either. So that's kind of why I'm doing it now. But specifically this week, today was, 80s, and then at night it's down in the 60s. We're not going to get rain, and that's maybe until Thursday. So I've got about 4 days before we have any rain. That's another thing you want to kind of time something like this with. If you're going to sprinkle a bunch of tiny flower seeds that are already kind of fragile all over an area like this and cover it with just a little bit of dirt, you don't want to do that around the time of a rain day, because it's just going to wash everything right downhill, which is, probably in part why we have some really nice things towards the bottom here and not anything else. You have some at the top there too. There's some pretty purple blue flowers. So I'm timing it in that way so that tomorrow I'll hopefully get out here and do a few more things. The other thing that I need to do is we do have some like temporary chicken wire with little stakes that we used around our fruit trees last year, or the last couple of years, the new ones that we planted to try to keep the deer away. Those worked phenomenally, and now the deer are just kind of scared of the area where those trees are. So for now, they're not coming back and eating off of our still very small and young fruit trees. So we had taken those down because it was kind of hard to weed whack or mow inside of those things. But I need to section that off. So I need to find a way to block off a perimeter here and then somewhere on this side too, because of my friends that joined me in the video today. So I think the chickens made 3 rounds. There's a 4th round going on over here. They made their rounds, but they kept coming back because they were very interested in what I was doing here. They're going to scratch. And I mean, you've seen them in my videos. You can see them in other people's videos, but they do this very aggressive scratch thing. So they're going to tear up this whole area. They're going to displace all the seeds. They're going to eat things. So if I were to just sprinkle some seeds and try to evenly distribute them, the chickens are just going to ruin that for me. So several things I need to do here to kind of prepare this area before I actually just throw seeds. And then once I put the seeds down, I'm going to use my wonderful compost and just do a light layer of compost over that. So this is a process. It's a project. Not all going to get done in one day. But the fact that I got it cleared out, I'm happy with that. Initially, I was thinking, let's get it really clean and rake all the leaves and pull every little weed. But the reality is, number one, that would take forever. 2, I got the worst stuff out of here, which is my big goal for the day. The vines, the pricker bushes, the larger plants, and then the trash that was just in here. And it looks a little rough right now, but once we get it replanted, reseeded, it won't look that way. And then I realized too, it's fine that there's a few leaves here from the tree that's on the side of the deck here. That's just going to break down and be part of the soil. So, and then I was kind of removing some of these rocks at first, and I'm like, wait, we kind of want rocks here too. So that's fine. So yeah, this is going to be my blank canvas for the next time when I come out and do this. Now, I'm going to do a quick thing over here, which I'll show you on the side that I didn't want to do anything with, but I'm going to do a really quick, easy thing because I think these are trees that are growing up out of these beautiful flowers, and we don't want that. And then after I do that, I have a surprise to wrap up the video. So stick around for that. Okay. Yeah, no trees here, please. All right. Ow. Oh. This is a pricker bush that, no, we definitely don't need that in there. Here's a sneak peek of something that we got last night around 7 p.m. that we were not expecting to get. They're very scared and timid, but I'll see if I can get them on video here. So these are supposed to be 12 Rhode Island Reds. I don't think that they are, and neither do my other family members. The white around the eye area, it's just different. But a family member had a family member, so it's somebody that we don't know. They were suddenly displaced from their home. and did not have a lot of time to be able to leave their home. They are not going to be able to go back to their home. And so they were desperately and frantically selling a lot of their things, putting other things in storage, giving things away. And I know it broke their heart to say goodbye to these that they just got. They estimate they're about 5 weeks old, and they are supposed to all be laying hens. The family member that called us just said, I don't know anything about chickens. I only know a handful of people who keep chickens. Can you help? And we said, yes, of course. Between ourselves and 2 other close family members that we are embarking on this homesteading lifestyle I think all of us are going to take some of these chickens. We had said we can just keep a few, and one of the other family members was definitely interested in keeping some. And the third family member might also take a few. But, a free laying hen is certainly a wonderful thing. And we're glad to help people out, although we're sad that they had the situation they had with having to leave their home. But this is the surprise that I wanted to share with you guys. It was a surprise to us. This was not part of the plan. We weren't expecting that. And we had about 24 hours notice and said, can you help? Could you help? We thought about it very quickly and then said yes. Just another thing to keep in mind with this type of situation, though. We've talked before about the fact that if you're going to do something like that, buy chickens online from somebody that you don't know, rescue chickens, that sort of thing, take them in last minute like this, that you want to keep them in a separate area from your chickens. We didn't do that. A couple of things with that, though. I trusted the family member that was helping to rehome these chickens, even though she said she didn't know much about chickens and they weren't hers. I asked for a picture. I asked for as much detail as I could. So I got a real-time current picture of the chickens. I got to see them before they arrived here, find out they're only 5 weeks old. And then when they got here, before we got anywhere near our coop, I inspected them. They looked healthy. They certainly look healthy 24 hours later here today. They're doing well so far, other than the fact that they're terrified of us, which is understandable. They just got displaced from their home and they have no idea why. And they went into a very long, scary car ride. So I think they're still getting acclimated here. But of course, a new chicken from somewhere could be carrying viral diseases that are going to get your chicken sick, or they could come with things like fleas, lice, or mites. Again, I checked feathers, checked body parts. Everybody looked really healthy. So we were comfortable and confident in doing it this way. They're still in kind of a semi-quarantine, right? So for their sake, they're in a complete quarantine. In terms of keeping them away from our chickens, that's a partial quarantine, because obviously they share this coop. So certainly if it were a viral thing, they could share that with each other and cause some trouble. But I'm not concerned about it, like I said. It was just a decision we made and did it this way. But again, we've covered in other videos in the Chicken Keeping 101 series that is something that you want to take into account if you're going to do something like this. And with that signal, if you heard it, I'm going to say goodbye, guys. I've got a lot of other things to do today, but we will see you next time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video, share our channel. That's what helps us grow. Have a great day.